Imagine a car running purely on water. No gas, no emissions, just H-Aero. It sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it?
It really does.
But what if I told you, back when the 1973 oil crisis hit hard, gas prices soaring, everyone desperate for alternatives.
Yeah.
One American inventor claimed he'd done exactly that.
Yeah, the promise of unlimited clean energy.
It was incredibly potent then, and honestly, that dream still holds a lot of power today.
It absolutely does.
And it's a story that really brings together, the big dream of limitless energy, the harsh reality check of physics, and just a whole lot of controversy.
So today we're doing a deep dive into Stanley Meyer, born August 24th, 1940, and his really audacious claim, a water fuel cell that could power cars.
Right?
Our mission here is to try and cut through all the noise, extract the key insights from what we know about the science, the huge controversy, and, well, what's left of his legacy. Was he a visionary, like way ahead of his time, or was it pseudoscience? Maybe even fraud? That's kind of the big question hanging over this whole thing. It is, and it's a question that caused sparks right from the start. Intense skepticism. I mean, scientists, investors, the courts, they all weighed in heavily. That led to serious fraud allegations, and then his very sudden death in 1998 just threw gasoline on the fire. Lots of debate, lots of conspiracy theories. It's got layers.
That initial promise must have just been so captivating, especially with the oil crisis backdrop. So what was the core idea? How did he picture this water car working?
Well, his central vision, especially then, with the energy crisis looming, it was genuinely revolutionary on paper. He said his device could split water, HEO, into hydrogen and oxygen using electrolysis.
Okay.
And then the crucial part, use that hydrogen to power the engine. The only thing coming out the tailpipe, water vapor.
And the on-demand part was key, right? Not like today's hydrogen cars needing big tanks.
Exactly. That was a huge selling point. No need for storing bulky hydrogen fuel. His system, supposedly, made the fuel right when the engine needed it. And he didn't just talk about it. He had that famous dune buggy demo, claimed it could go from LA to New York on just 22 gallons of water.
22 gallons for a cross-country trip.
Yeah.
That's staggering.
It is.
I mean, that alone changes everything. Transportation, emissions, the oil industry, gone. So how did he claim it worked? He got patents, didn't he?
He did, yeah. U.S. patent 4,936,961 is one of the main ones. It talks about his water fuel cell assembly. Meyer claimed he was using something he called electrical resonance.
Resonance.
Yeah, to basically shake the water molecules apart, dissociate them using very little energy. That was the bit that immediately made scientists go, hang on a second.
Because that sounds like it gets around the usual energy cost.
Precisely. His patents even described swapping out spark plugs for injectors to burn this hydrogen-oxygen mix.
Yeah.
He made it sound like a self-sustaining system, almost.
Powered by the car's own alternator, maybe, like perpetual motion.
And that's exactly where Meyer ran headfirst into a brick wall, scientifically speaking. The core problem is just basic physics. Electrolysis splitting water takes energy, a lot of it actually, to break those strong H-0 bonds.
Right.
And here's the kicker. It always takes more energy to split the water than you ever get back when you burn the hydrogen. That's just how energy works. Conservation of energy.
So, first law of thermodynamics, basically. You can't win.
Can't win, and the second law says you can't even break even. You always lose some energy in the conversion. So if physics says no, how did Meyer explain it? What was his workaround?
Yeah, what was his secret sauce?
He insisted he used a unique resonant frequency and this special water capacitor cell with electrical pulses. He claimed this method drastically reduced the energy needed. He even had a specific name for the gas mix it supposedly produced, Brown's gas, a stoichiometric HHO mix.
Brown's gas. Even the name sounds a bit unusual.
It does, and it implied something novel, maybe when really it's just hydrogen and oxygen mixed together. But claiming he could make it so efficiently that directly challenged those fundamental laws of thermodynamics we just mentioned.
So scientists must have pushed back hard.
Oh, absolutely. Physicists like Philip Ball, writing in Nature magazine, pointed out this clashes directly with the first and second laws. You can't create energy from nothing, first law, and any energy conversion loses some useful energy, second law.
So his device, if real, would be a perpetual motion machine.
Essentially, yes, which physics says is impossible. Standard electrolysis needs a known significant energy input way, way more than Meyer claimed is needed. It's a hard limit.
And didn't people also take issue with him calling it a fuel cell?
Yes, that terminology was definitely misleading. A proper fuel cell generates electricity from a fuel, like hydrogen reacting with oxygen.
Okay.
Meyer's device consumed electricity to make a gas. It was an electrolytic cell, basically the opposite process.
Got it.
Critics also hammered him on the lack of detail. His patents, they argued, were vague. No detailed schematics, no peer-reviewed data, just these anecdotal
Right,
demonstrations.
the demonstration. Those were his big public moments, weren't they? Like that 1996 Chevy Caprice thing.
That was probably the peak of his public claims, yeah. Said he drove a 84 Caprice 100 miles on the water fuel cell. WSYX-TV in Ohio covered it. He'd been on shows like Equinox. It generated
You
buzz.
bet it did.
But, and this is a big but, whenever independent experts tried to replicate it or even just verify his claims properly, nothing. It fell flat.
So attempts were made to check it out.
Oh, yeah. Critically, during a lawsuit in '96, Professor Michael Lawton from Queen Mary University examined the cell. His conclusion: it was just standard electrolysis. Nothing revolutionary, no magic efficiency.
And the demos themselves, there wasn't much solid proof.
Exactly. No verifiable data, no proper measurement of energy going in versus work coming out, no independent testing protocols. Even the video evidence apparently didn't show sustained motion convincingly. It raised a lot of questions.
Like, were there hidden batteries? Or maybe it wasn't running only on water.
Skeptics definitely suggested things like that, and it all came to a head in court. 3 expert witnesses testified their conclusion. The device was, quote, unremarkable. Yeah. The court ruled it was gross and egregious fraud. Meyer was ordered to pay back $25,000 to some investors. That was a huge blow to his credibility.
Though, as you said, he always maintained they just misunderstood the technology.
He did stick to that narrative, yes,
Mhm.
which leads us straight into the whole suppression and conspiracy angle.
Right, because his response wasn't just, you don't understand the science. He claimed powerful forces were stopping him, right? Oil companies.
That was absolutely his counter-narrative, that his invention threatened the established energy industry, specifically big oil, and they were actively suppressing it.
And that narrative got a massive boost after his death, didn't it? The circumstances were dramatic.
Extremely dramatic. March 20th, 1998, he's at dinner with potential Belgian investors. Suddenly, according to his brother Stephen, who was there, Meyer grabs his throat, yells out, "They poisoned me," runs outside and collapses, dead.
Wow. I mean, they poisoned me. You can see how that would ignite theories.
Instantly. Despite the coroner officially ruling it a cerebral aneurysm and finding no traces of poison, those alleged last words became the bedrock of conspiracy theories, that he was assassinated to bury the water fuel cell tech.
And those theories are still around.
Oh, absolutely. You see them pop up online on platforms like X, claiming he was silenced. It's persistent. Though it's important to add, you often see community notes on those platforms now, pointing out the fraud ruling and the official cause of death. And Philippe Van Mortella, one of the investors at that dinner, publicly denied any foul play took place.
So weighing the evidence, the court ruling, the lack of proof for his claims, it seems like skepticism is more grounded than conspiracy here.
Based on the available evidence and the scientific consensus, yes. The scales definitely tilt heavily towards skepticism about both the technology and the assassination theories. The concrete proof just isn't there for his extraordinary claims.
So what's the final legacy then? His patents are public domain now, you said? Has anyone picked them up and actually made a working water car based on his ideas?
Short answer, no. Not in any verifiable, mainstream way. Hobbyists tinker, some fringe researchers are inspired, sure. But no major car company, no serious engineering firm has adopted his specific technology. Attempts to replicate it just haven't yielded a working, efficient energy source.
So when we see hydrogen cars today, like the Toyota Mirai, that's totally different tech.
Completely different. They rely on stored hydrogen, usually compressed gas or liquid, and they use proven fuel cell technology to generate electricity on board by reacting that stored hydrogen with oxygen from the air.
Okay.
They don't use Meyer's idea of on-demand electrolysis from water in the car itself, mainly because of those fundamental energy and efficiency problems we talked about, the ones Meyer claimed to solve but never proved.
But hydrogen is becoming a bigger deal in clean energy, isn't it? Just not Meyer's way.
Absolutely. The global hydrogen market is growing significantly. There's a big push for green hydrogen, which is made using electrolysis, but it's done using renewable energy sources like solar or wind at dedicated facilities.
All right, so the electrolysis happens elsewhere efficiently. using clean power.
Exactly. And then that clean hydrogen is transported and stored. Plus, you see innovations like Toyota developing hydrogen combustion engines, cooled by water, exploring different ways to use hydrogen efficiently and cleanly.
So real, verifiable progress is happening.
Definitely. But it's grounded in established science, unlike Meyer's claims. So his specific vision of a car running easily on just water, that remains elusive, maybe impossible as he described it, but his story, it definitely still taps into that deep, enduring human desire for abundant, clean energy, even if the path there needs to follow the rules of science.
Okay, wow. We've really covered a lot there, from the incredible promise to the scientific roadblocks, the court cases, the controversy, his sudden death. It's quite a tale.
It really is.
So the big question remains hanging. Stanley Meyer, visionary genius? Or is it all a hoax?
And maybe the bigger question his story leaves us with is, in this urgent search for clean energy, for breakthrough solutions, how do we tell the difference between genuine, boundary-pushing innovation and just wishful thinking? Where's that line between challenging limits and denying basic laws?
That is a fantastic question for you, our listener, to think about. We really want to know what you think after hearing all this. Do you agree or disagree with how we've summed up Stanley Meyer's legacy? Let us know. Subscribe to Mind Expansion Daily. It's the best way to get more deep dives just like this one. Our goal is to connect with learners all over the globe, so please also tell us where you're tuning in from in the comments. We genuinely love hearing from everyone.